Everyone says the same thing. To sell AI services, you need testimonials, you need case studies, and you need social proof. However, what no one is telling you is that you're actually stuck in a loop. You can't get clients if you don't have proof, and you can't get proof if you don't have clients. And so you wait, and wait, and you learn the next tool, and wait. Meanwhile, someone with half your experience just landed the second client this week. And not because they are smarter, simply because they build proof in a different way. And in this video, I'm gonna show you exactly the system that allowed me to sell AI services with 0 testimonials, no case studies, and 0 proof. So if that makes sense to you, get comfortable and let's dive straight in. So how to sell AI services with 0 testimonials, no case study, and 0 proof. Before we dive into the system and I show you the system, what I want you to see are the 2 or 3 problems that you're actually facing right now. Because if we're able to define them properly, then it becomes easier to tackle them. And you're also going to understand why we need to take specific action that I'm going to discuss later on and why these are effective. So let's start with why are you stuck? We have 3 main problems. So the first problem that you're going to face is the circular proof loop. And what does it mean? It means that you will not be able to get clients because you have 0 proof, and at the same time, you cannot get proof because you have no clients. And what does it mean? It means that most people in this situation are simply waiting that someone magically hires them. However, this never happens. And if you ever try to sell something, you know that the initial traction that you need in order to do the first sale and initial effort is going to be much higher than any other sale that you're going to make, because once you make the first one, then everything becomes much easier. So that first sales needs to be grinded a little bit. And so what do people do most of the times in this situation? They actually do nothing, right? So they hope someone magically hires them, but no one hires them because they have no proof. And then they do nothing again. So this is the space where most of the people are right now, and they will stuck in here because less actually than 2% of people are actually making money with AI. Most of the other humans are just learning AI. And at this point, it's not just to make money, but it's for the sake of it. But if you're trying to sell AI services and not making money, you don't really have a business, but you have a hobby, right? So what do we want to do? We actually want to start selling. And let me show you what this problem looks like in a regular situation. So this is a draft email. So, hi Giovanni, I'm an automation consultant with over 6 years of experience helping companies optimize operations. I've partnered with businesses across multiple industries to design, scale, high-impact system. Let me know if you're open to explore how I can support your team. Thanks, Tony. So let's take this email. And by the way, I receive a ton on a weekly basis for a variety of reasons. And by the way, this is the type of email that most people are sending. So the first thing that you're going to think when you read this, or when this Giovanni read this, is, all right, who is this? And the first thing that I'm going to ask is, okay, if I am ever going to answer this email, but it will be, hey, but you worked 6 years, but do you have case studies? Do you have testimonials, and etc.? And so you already understand that the discussion is going in a very wrong direction. And it all started because the initial email right here is not a properly written email. And what is the implication of that? The implication of that is that most likely you are not going to have an answer. And so you're going to study other 40 hours of YouTube tutorials and eventually learn other 6 new tools that are very nice on paper. However, what I care about, which is your calendar will most likely still be empty. And so if you have all of those technical skills, what is it that it's actually missing? What's missing is that if we follow this strategy, then it seems like we need a paying client in order to have proof, right? Because here, we still did not prove to anyone what we're capable of. We don't have case study. We don't have anything. And one thing that I want to stress out immediately is that when you start, you don't need a paying client to start generating proof. But the other thing that I want to stress out, which most people will get emotional over this, but it's a very important one, so is that you are overpriced if your price is free. And why is that? For 2 specific reasons. The first one is that let's imagine that you are working with a company, right? The statement is that you need to get good enough before you're actually be able to contribute to that company or to the result of that company in any shape or form. And this is very realistic, right? Because the first time that you're actually gonna do anything, you are most likely gonna suck, and forgive me for my words. But this is the reality. The other thing is that you need the outcome of this free project more than the company needs your service. Because most often, because most likely your service is not going to add that much value to them, and they're actually investing their time to train a person or for this person to start delivering actually the first project. At this point, and once we have clarified that at free we are already overpriced if it's your first automation, so you have realistically two options to tackle this problem. So the first option that we have is, okay, since we clarified that we don't need money necessarily for the first project, let's try to reach out to the Worm network. And what are we going to say? We're going to try and check if we have anyone that we can help for free. But the other option is, okay, let's imagine that you are bothered because, I don't know, your tools are expensive and I don't know, you're running an instantly a cold email outreach campaign and you don't want to do it for free. Then the other option is to do it for yourself. And you're going to build something for yourself and then test the number and sell it. And why am I suggesting to go with the lead generation methods? Because let's imagine that you are starting out with a cold email outreach campaign, and this is your first thing that you do. By the way, this is also what I do with my own agency. But let's imagine that you start there. It's super easy to already have numbers because if anyone is going to answer to your email, that's actually meeting book number one, right? And most realistically, considering the fact that with an average plan, you can send up to 5,000 emails, then you realistically already after 1 month have a reasonable enough sample to start saying, hey, I have a lead generation system that allows you to get X booking in Y days, correct? Because this system is already battle tested on ourselves. If you were to tell me, hey, but I don't want to do it because I don't want to work for free and free is not a good strategy, then let's understand what is the opportunity cost, which in this case for you, the cost of not doing this is that your competition does this. So let's imagine that up until now you try to get paid and nothing worked, right? So we're just going to try a different strategy. Then the price is that after maybe 6 months before going to 12, you still got no clients and you're still learning tools. And after 12 months, you will most likely need a job because, realistically, unless you have someone paying for your expenses, you need to live. And so this is your cost opportunity. So if you're not doing it, someone else would do it and someone else will get the first proof and the first client, which is literally all we need in order to get the things going, right? So if someone else less skilled than you or with less expectation starts doing this, they close 2 clients in 1 week and all of a sudden they have 2 testimonials. Let's imagine that one of them is happy, they are going to make a reference in the website and all of a sudden testimonials and numbers, right? So my suggestion here is stop learning and start executing. And you can clearly, if you need to justify it to yourself, you can see this investment as a free cost, as a marketing cost, right? For a regular business. So my intent is I will advertise myself with free work up until I get good enough or up until I get enough data to start actually having a benchmark and start talking about outcomes to businesses. Your second problem, or the problem that I see most of the times, is that once people start building proof, they build it the wrong way. And how do they do this? There is a lot of people online saying that a way to build proof is that to get certified on these things, it takes literally no time and you can get up and running in half a second. But the reality is that let's imagine that you say something along the way of, hey, N810 certified, Microsoft certified, Cloud Code certified, whatever. And I build an AI automation with 10 integration, advanced algorithm, 15 nodes, custom APIs, real data, and connection. So if I were Giovanni and Tony were to write me something along that way, my first answer would be, all right, so what, right? So in here, with all of these technical information, you didn't do a pitch. You just explained what are your tech skills. And the problem is that when you go and talk to real customers, they don't care realistically about how you build the automation, what is the tech skills that you have, what is the tech stack that you're using. All they care about is value. And if you're starting to talk about certification, about how your automation are future-proof, advanced, and etc., you are not building proof, but you are giving them a tutorial of all of the things that you actually can do. And let me show you what this means when it comes to email, to have this as a bad proof or have this as a good proof, right? So the bad proof is what I would call tech-oriented / skills-oriented / it's a proof about you. So Hi Giovanni, I'm NA10 and AWS certified. I build custom automation with advanced system and integration. All my automation are scalable, reliable, and deliver results. Can I show you one? Thanks, Tony. This is a bad proof because, as I just said, this is about you. And when you build proof, you want to build it about them. Now, what is a good proof? A good proof is an outcome-oriented proof. So let's read an example. Hi Giovanni, I built an automated follow-up system for a home renovation company. They were missing 35% of inbound leads and spending 2 to 3 hours per day replying manually. After I implemented the system, they now respond in under 60 seconds, qualify leads, and book consultation automatically. They now spend 25 minutes a day reviewing only serious prospects. The result, we achieved 11 consultation in 18 days with a 58 a month cost. So why is this good? Because this is what I would call the before state, right? The yellow part is what I would call the after state. So you describe a pain, then you go into the before and after, and the pain is this one, so following up, right? And this is the proof, right? So this is the proof. Now, this is not yet good, and we will define what best is later on. But this is already better than having a proof about yourself. And the reason is because you are talking about them and their problem. And as a nugget, when you're going into selling, the prospect will never believe anything you say. They will only believe something they say. So if you tell them that the system is great, they're never going to believe it. If they tell you that their pain is so huge and they are desperate and they need a solution, then they will believe that your system is good. So always build proof about them. What is a successful proof? A successful proof have what I call 3W. So the first W is who is your system for? The second W is what problem is it solving? And the third W is what outcome do we expect once this is implemented? Now, what are the mistakes that I actually see? The mistakes that I actually see is that, first of all, people tend to be way too generic. So imagine this, and I'm pretty sure you saw this a million times. I'm helping businesses save time and make more money, increase revenue, drive up the top line, and reduce costs with AI. If you tell this to any business, no one is going to see them self-reflecting on this statement, right? So this is not speaking to anyone specifically. So even if someone were to come to me with this statement, I would be like, okay, so what? While if your offer is something along the way of I'm helping digital agencies automating their outreach system so that they book 20 more calls per month with the same headcount, here I'm talking to digital agency, first of all, so I'm niching down with the problem on outreach, right? They want to make more sales, they want to have more leads, but at the same time, they have budget issues right now because they don't want to hire headcount, right? And if this is good enough for them, then this is going to be very compelling as an offer. The second thing that I am seeing as a mistake is that people overthink what proof means, right? And in this specific scenario, what I mean by that is that, okay, we went over a few things about proof. And so how people are going to make proof, or what is the general recommendation? The recommendation is, okay, build your gigantic, website. And in here, you're going to have the first section, then you're going to have a couple of other stuff right here, and then third section, and so on. But what this does is simply overthinking proof, right? And this is exactly what we want to avoid. It's the same as, let me learn another AI tool. And the reality is that there is no need for any professional website or stuff like this, right? Because my whole point is you don't have market validation. You don't even know if the things that you're writing on the website are actually compelling for anyone, or if anyone would be willing to pay for these things. So what are you going to have? You're going to have a 2 minutes Loom video recorded. And now we will go in the details in a while on what is the successful Loom video. But this is the only proof that you actually need, because this will be extremely, extremely fast and immediate, right? Because you just get a Loom. And one thing that I want to stress out is that the cost of building wrong proof, it's extremely high because it's weeks of work. It's you tweaking the offer, building the website better, trying to make your stuff looks more sexy and shiny. But at the end, all of this will result in no clients conversion, right? So now we have an understanding. If we were to summarize, you are going to have the circular loop proof, which basically means that you don't get clients because you don't have proof, and vice versa. You don't get proof because you don't have clients. And we mentioned that the two options that we have in order to tackle this is to either build something for ourselves, either to build something for free for someone, considering that free we are still overpriced. And the second thing is that we need to be careful not to build the wrong type of proof, right? Because in this scenario, we need to build proof that will speak to our customer and not about ourselves. So let's imagine now that we are clear, and we will talk about it in a while, but let's imagine that we're clear now on, okay, we built proof. We have proof. Are we actually good to go? And to answer this, I will go in the last step before I teach you exactly how to build it, which is be careful because not yet. And a lot of people, after they build the right proof, they also kill it instantaneously in the email. And what does it mean? That most of your deals won't be closed because you just position things the wrong way. And what is the third problem and pillar that I want to show you before we go into the rest and in the system? The problem is that most people just ask for permission and wait for permission to give proof, which basically means that we are increasing the churn and the steps that will make us appear as the right fit to solve a problem to a potential customer. And let me show you in practice what does this mean. Let's read this email. Hi Giovanni, I built everything and now this is amazing. This is the things that we were discussing before. And now something pops up. Mind if I share a video showing how we did it? So mind if I share a video equals low confidence equals, oh my days, this is another person trying to pitch me something. So what this means, it's spam. What this means is churn. People will not answer. You will be disregarded. I personally receive a lot of these. So where you have amazing proof here, and then you are right here and you're like, oh my days, I have to answer another email and again. So basically the reaction, and it is what it is, right? But this is the reality is, okay, another pitch. Let's move to the next email. Now, let's see what is an actually better way, and then we will go over how to build a Loom, of building the proof, right? And not killing it. And this is actually something that I did. So, hi, Michael. I built an automated lead gen system for a digital agency that booked 21 meetings in 40 days using cold email plus outreach personalized. So in this case, it was an icebreaker generator. Below the walkthrough and live results. I thought this may be relevant to you. Would love to hop on a call if it does. Thanks, Giovanni. What is the reaction? The reaction is that let's imagine for 1 second that we have a gigantic play button right here. You're just gonna press it and you're gonna see the system. You don't have to talk to me. I didn't ask for any permission. And you also can understand how this email is gonna be perceived much differently, right? Like, I am just showing you immediately. I'm not asking you anything. I'm just giving you the result that you want. Just judge it, okay? And this is the case for anything that you're trying to sell. So let's make the example that you are a YouTube editor or a thumbnail designer. So what you want to say is not, hey, look at my portfolio standard pitch, is, hey, I designed this thumbnail for you, and this is for that video. There you go. Or, hey, I edited a portion of your video. Do you like this? I think this should improve retention by X, Y, and Z. Or simply, do you like it? And trust me, the least people do when they see this amount of effort, because this means that the thing is personalized because you're going to say their name inside. They're going to answer you yes, no, and give you feedback. And then you can improve for the next one. So this effort is going to pay off big, big time, right? Because, and this is what I want you to take away from this. 1 click for me is immediate value, regardless of if I will like it or not, and etc. It's immediate value and it's immediate proof. I built it. This is the system. Go check it out. Results are live, right? No question asked. If you have any, then you come back to me. But what does it happen? What it happens is that you're not going to ask me anymore if I built it or if this is just theory or if I am your first client, because everything is already being proven inside the Loom, right? The proof is immediate. I have this already running. And mind you, we talked before, the free stuff, the do-it-yourself stuff, all of these are there for a reason, because then this does not imply that someone has to pay you, right? This implies that you can actually deliver the result that you're asking. So digital agency, 21 meetings booked in 40 days. I did it for free the first time. So now that we explained what are the three mistakes, how do we build the right proof? So let's just recap and then we see it. So the first mistake is that we're actually waiting for the perfect paying client. And we call this the circular proof loop. The second thing is that we're making proof about ourselves and not about them. And this basically means that we're building the wrong proof. And the third thing is that if we even did all of the steps correctly and we had the right proof, sometimes people ask for permission and this kills the deals before it even starts. Let's see how we build the right proof. So let's start by asking three questions. First, do you have a paying client? Most likely, no. Do you have anyone in your warm network that you can help for free? Then you're gonna go and help them. And the third thing is, do you have your own system? Like, did you run it? Are you running it? And etc. So if the answer is yes, by the way, we're gonna proceed in this direction to any of these questions. If the answer is no, we are gonna go right here. So let's go to the yes route to any of these questions. So let's imagine that we don't have a paying client and we don't have anyone in the warm network, but we have our own system because let's imagine we're selling lead generation systems, right? So what am I gonna do? I'm gonna record, which is the video that you saw up, by the way. I'm gonna record what I call an outcome-based proof Loom video. It's always a Loom video, by the way, as a spoiler. And in this Loom video, we're gonna quickly say, I helped who with what problem with a solution that helped them achieve outcome. So what I said before, right? I helped the digital agency to book 8 more calls per month with the solution was a cold email outreach campaign and help them, I don't know, get 3% more top line in their revenue, something like this, right? General, I help, blah, blah, blah. Now, and this is our outcome base because once we clarified this, then we know how to record the Loom. But then what does it happen if we have that we just said no to all of these questions, right? So what is it exactly that we're doing? We're doing a Loom video that basically has the intent of doing a general audit-based proof. So what does it mean? It means that right now you don't have anything because you don't have clarity on what is it that you can actually build. You don't have clarity on, okay, can I actually get anyone paying me? You don't know anyone in your network that can do that. So what you're gonna try and do is a Loom video that is called general audit-based proof. So what does it mean? It means that you're gonna open the website of a person and you're gonna send a Loom where you're gonna just audit whatever it is that you see that it doesn't work. And by the way, as it's obvious, in order to do anything, you need to have some sort of expertise. So if you don't have the expertise, I would suggest build your system and go here and then run some estimates. If you don't have the expertise here, but you have the expertise for a website, then I would suggest to go on this route. So what you're going to do here is that you're going to say, hey, and by the way, there is a lot of people that are doing live audits and for free on LinkedIn, tagging the company, and they're landing clients, by the way. So what you're going to do, either with Post, either with Loom. And what you're going to do is you open the website, you audit it, and you say, hey, by the way, you have a weak CTA or your funnel doesn't seem to be guiding people the right way. If you do this, you could increase your conversion of X%, and so on, right? So this is how you are going to tackle that. So to summarize, we said you need to build some sort of expertise. If you have none, you should build a system for yourself and you should go this route here. Easiest way, cold email outreach campaign, and you see how many people are actually going to answer you. So if you want to help digital agency land more clients, pretend like you are yourself a digital agency and try to run a campaign for the target customer of this digital agency. Or use the data that your campaign will generate for yourself with the digital agency as a proof that the system is working. And when you hop on a call, you're going to tell them, hey, I use the same system to reach out to you. So if it's working now, it means that it's a good system, right? And if you don't have anything, but you have expertise, then you need to go here. Of course, you must have some sort of expertise because otherwise no one is going to pay you anything, right? That is for granted. Now, how do you record the Loom? I gave you both the ChatGPT prompt that is ready and free, and you will find it in the material down below. But I also went over the perfect Loom strategy to create the proof. So this is exactly how you will sell AI with no case study, no proof, and no testimonials. does not mean that you don't have expertise of any sort. So, first one is you start with the context. So, why this video exists, right? Who is this for? Why you recorded it, and what they will get in the next 2-3 minutes. What we were saying before, right? Hey, X or Josh, I built a X system that will do Y, and you will get this outcome. What I want to show you in the next 2-3 minutes is how it works. And you're going to say either a couple of live results, because maybe the system you ran it on yourself, or I'm going to show you quickly how it works and what implication it has for your business. You go to then section 2, and you need to show them their pain first. So in your pitch, you're going to start, hey, look, for this client, this was the broken thing, and this is what it was costing them, and this is why they couldn't fix it. So you're going to show, as we mentioned in the emails before, the before state. Right after that, you're going to move to the solution state. So you're going to go high level only, and you're not going to explain the tools in details, because for everything, there will be a sales call, which is what you're trying to achieve with this. You're trying to get people on a sales call so that eventually you can sell them stuff. And here you're going to explain what does it happen when you implement the system, which basically can be declined in what you changed, why you changed it. So again, referring to the actual pain that your customer was experiencing, and what does the new process looks like. So let's imagine that they want to get a new customer per week, but they don't have someone that, I don't know, can send the emails. You're going to say, hey, the system does it automatically. You just need a sales representative to pick up this qualified leads once they come, right? You just need to go in sales call. And this is why we always focus on the logic and the system, and we never, ever talk about the features. So section 4 will be the outcome. Again, here we are adding, if it's relevant, the cost comparison. However, the time frame in this phase will be extremely relevant. And if you don't have number, you use an audit proof, right? So what would you change, or what is the expected lift that you are actually gathering? And by the way, if you don't have numbers, I want to frame it properly. This is not lying. This is you doing research online and understanding how much a good, funnel can improve for companies, how much a good CTA can improve in terms of conversion, and you audit if they have what is the best practice and not. And if you truly believe that they will be in good hands working with you, then the expected lift is basically the, percentage that they're going to increase. Then you can translate it into dollars, and then you can continue proceeding like this, right? And lastly, the CTA. So something along the way of, if it's relevant, I would love to hop on a call. Here is the booking link, or answer yes, and I'll send you the booking link, or happy to take any questions, would love to discuss them in a call. And by the way, just so you know, this personalized Loom strategy has a conversion of 7% to 15% according to how good you are, versus a regular conversion on any email campaign of 3%. So this is the uplift that you are going to be able to achieve following the strategy. So now you know exactly how to sell AI services, but if you want to learn how to build, you should go and check this video right here.